Look, if you're new to my channel, I'm the Black opinionated woman, also known as a Bo. So let me just hop on this. I don't think this is going to be long today, but I say that all the time. I saw Take Six, and let me just say I was impressed. Now, I am familiar with a lot of their old hits, right? So first of all, I went to the bootleg Birchmere. I don't really like the Birchmere. For those of you who live in the DMV, you know. But, I went to the Birchmere. And look, if I go see a group that's been in the game for 5 million years, I'm expecting to hear some of your old songs. What I don't want to hear is you sing a whole bunch of covers and, like, look, listen to my new stuff. I get it. Artists want to, stretch their legs and all sorts of stuff like that. But this is what they fail to not understand. If you're an old group, 90 to 95% of your stuff should be your old stuff. No one wants to hear you try to sing something, do bop, bop, bop. Like, no, no. I'm sitting here like they covered Stevie Wonder's Overjoyed. They covered Eric Clapton's If I Could Change the World. They covered, who else? You know that Christopher Cross song, Sailing? Then they told some corny jokes. Then they wanted to let us know that they sang in South Africa someplace. So now they're on like some African beat stuff. I didn't know they was trying to be Tyler the Water Girl or um, Thames or Nems, whatever the chick is, one that has the same beat for all of her songs. And just, all that whining she does. So I'm just like, I don't understand, like, what is happening right now? Then they wanted us to hear some stuff off of their new record that's not ready yet. And I was just like, they don't sing any of their old stuff. They got out there doing these old people dances, like, and they were like making fun of it, like, hey, if you can do the Temptations two-step. I was like, shut up and sing. They're out here. I, I don't know. I guess I'm just not doing a good job of picking concerts lately because the last one I saw before that was I think it was Boyz II Men. They were decent, but then the one guy who I can't remember his name right now because I'm having a moment, he decided, hey, look, I learned how to play the guitar. Ding, 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 ding. Like, the next thing you know, he wants to play rock music. I was just like, we want to hear you sing, cause even though when times got rough, you never turned away, you were right there. That's what I want to hear. So between Take Six, Sucking Balls, and Boys to Men, out of breath, trying to do a couple of twirls and stuff on the stage. The only concert that went well, which seems everybody was talking about poorly, was the one that I went when was it Babyface came to town and with Anita Baker. And I know Anita Baker was clowning, but let me tell you something. Babyface and Anita Baker put on a good show. Let me tell you, I enjoyed that one. You're my angel. Yeah. I was up. Look. Oh, angel. She was singing all of it. All of it. I can remember stories. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, so when Take Six came and I listened to them, I should have been hearing There Is a Quiet Place. I should have been hearing, they tried to play the biggest part of me. You knew there was going to be a little whack encore, right? And they were like super predictable. So, like, as soon as everybody's heading out, because, like, whatever, now they want to sing, you know, sunrise is a new sun rising. Now you want to sing that on the way out? And then it's like, not only that, but I feel like these artists, when you are like as old as Methuselah, they want to do all this extra arranging. Sometimes just singing it is okay. Just sing the song. I was just over it. I was just like, so now my husband was clowning me last night. He was like, so this is what you picked? This is what you picked? I'm like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. And so I'm sitting there. He's so busy hee-hawing and laughing at me. He spills his glass of what he was drinking, of some adult libation. So now my shirt on the right side, because it bounced up, I don't know, it was a whole situation. It got on my shirt and my skirt. So now I smelled like DUI. So on the way home, I called my sister and the guy that she's dating, and it's so funny because they are like hee hawing in the background because my husband is laughing at me because I'm the driver. I'm the driver. And he's laughing at me. They're laughing at me because they went out. They were out golfing at like Top Golf and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm sitting here smelling like DUI. I'm like, I didn't even get to enjoy a little. You know what I'm saying? Like the music was just. There's a doo doo pop pop. Like I'm like, but I want you to doo doo pop pop on the song that I know. They were making this up. A lot of us was like, I don't know what this is. Like, what is this? That's how we were looking. Now you're still gonna have people who are gonna enjoy it. I saw the lady on the table next to me. I don't know what beat she was on, but she was enjoying herself. She was in her. She was. I don't know what she's doing. There was a clap that was off beat. I don't know what beat she was on. I don't know what tunes. I don't know what melody she had in her head, but she had a good time. So I'm glad she had an offbeat good time. And basically, I'm speaking like a little bit of a hater. I am a hater. Now, let me move on to the light skin comments. So, you know, black people, that's the trend on TikTok. Let me just say this. I appreciate people leaving their comments. I mean, I get it because I didn't want to make everything about uh, the plight of the light skinned woman. That wasn't necessarily my intention. I just wanted to call out a couple things because I just get so sick and tired of everyone screaming colorism for everything. And I think colorism presents itself in a whole lot of things. I surely do. But I also feel like if you are a person who you could just simply be disagreeable, everything's going to be labeled colorism when maybe you're just a disagreeable person. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I'm riding the fence because on the one hand, I feel like if you look a certain way, there is no expectation that you can speak with any kind of authority or any kind of intelligence or anything like that. When you do, they see you as some form of elitist, or they start labeling you with all these things, and one of them is colorism too, because they're like, oh, you get to say this because of the way you look. I'm like, there's no winning. There is no winning. It doesn't matter what you do. People are going to be upset. But I think the biggest thing was with the Amanda Seals interview. Like I said, Amanda has some mess about her. She most certainly does. But I'm like, she still should be allowed to speak her mind, talk her talk. Everything is not colorism. Everything is not whatever it is the thing. And I think that oftentimes that they talk about how people look a certain way, may have these biases, whatever. I'm like, well, I feel like a lot of darker skinned people also have biases. They want to make it seem like if you say something or if you operate in a manner that does not fit the narrative, then it's kind of like, oh, so she's using her this, that, the other. I'm like, shut up. And if you dare refute somebody who's darker skinned, let me tell you something. You will you will face the wrath of something. How dare you do this, that, and the other? I think about how I saw the clips of who put something on my car last night. Lord Jesus, there's a little I hate when people put stuff on under my windshield wiper. Don't do that. I didn't even know it was there. Anyway, I was thinking about on that Potomac show. I saw the clips. I haven't watched the actual show in about a year and more. Was it a season and a half? I keep saying a year and a half. That's about right. Maybe a year and a half. I guess season and a half, close to 2 seasons. Because the previous season, I had to check out. I just couldn't. I've seen so many episodes of Candace is a vile person. I'm not saying that Giselle doesn't have some mess about her. But a lot of people will co-sign bad behavior, and they'll call it a read. It's not a read. It's not. If anybody, so she gets to talk about everybody's looks and their body. If somebody would come for her, because I would say something, I sure would. I'm like, you don't get to talk to me until you use your shade of makeup. How about that? You got all these weird lines down your nose, trying to over contour. You're so concerned about what everybody else's kids and body and husbands and everything look like. I'm like, you're clearly obsessed. You want to skin me and wear me as a cloak. You have your own problems. You need to focus on yourself. That woman is psycho. Look, Giselle is a piece of work too. But you can't say anything to anybody who's darker because if you do, you're a colorist. Now, I do think colorism does present on that show, but every moment is not a colorist moment. Sometimes people are just a-holes. Sometimes it's just that. But I think for me was, I don't know why her comments, Amanda Seal's comment on the Club Shay Shay interview, for whatever reasons that day, it could have just been the space I was in. I was just like, you know what? I get what she's saying. I get it. I get it. And no matter what you do, what's going to happen is people are going to do and say what they want. You can only be like quiet and agreeable. You can't disagree with somebody who's darker skinned. And it's stupid. I'm like, we're all on the same team. We're on the same team. You know, these conversations cannot be had in a vacuum, right? Like, you have to have a conversation instead of attacking people. He's like, you want to have a conversation about colorism, but then you claim people don't have the range. And I'm sitting here laughing at her. I'm like, you're literally, this was Wendy who was sitting up on the stage. Sorry, I got like multiple thoughts going in my head. Like that ADD kicked in hard. I'm like, you literally cannot even sit here and talk to me when you are looking like you want to assimilate, like you're a refresher or whatever. Like, I'm just like, girl, what is happening right now? But they want to have these conversations, but then they shut you down because they want to have it on their terms. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And I think for me, I was just like, look, you know what? If you don't want to include multiple people, then don't bring it up at all. There's no way you can move forward in these conversations if it's going to be a one-sided affair on your terms. No, no, not for me. It doesn't work. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Anyway, this is not to say that I don't think these kinds of issues aren't present in all many of these scenarios. I just don't think every single moment calls for a colorist conversation. But it needs to be had for sure. It most certainly does. All right. Now that I got that off my chest, I do not recommend anybody going to see Take Six. They are not singing their old songs. They'll do that's what they're gonna do on some songs that are not theirs. They're gonna cover everybody else's song. They're gonna sing a couple of songs from their new album that they said isn't ready, but they want to give a snippet. They're gonna tell some funny jokes. They were trying to tell people, look, can you do this? Can you do this? If you can do this, you can hang with us. We only have 3 steps. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not waving my hands in the air and waving like I just don't care. I am not at a hip hop or a rap concert. I wanted to hear Take Six in their harmonies. They were harmonizing on songs that half of us was like, what is this? And I was like, then because you don't know the song, you don't know the words, you don't know what it is you're listening to. Everyone's just clapping like, okay. I was just done. So apparently, my husband is looking at me sideways now, like, well, he didn't go to the Anita Baker, what do you call it, a Babyface concert. I went with my mother and my sister. But you know, the last few things we did was we saw Boys to Men. That was just okay. He wanted to see Mike Epps. I did not. So we saw Mike Epps. And I was like, I mean, I had a couple of hee-haws. Don't get me wrong. But I don't really care for Mike Epps. Then I picked Take Six, and he never wanted to go. So now my sister's like, I'm glad I dodged that bullet because I was trying to ask my sister if she wanted to go. She's like, yeah, I think not. So basically, I think he's banning me from picking stuff in the near future for a while because I've been striking out. Take Six and that garbage. I was like, make a wish. That's what we should have heard. We should have heard that early on. Sunrise. That's what we should have been hearing. Instead, they were like, da, da. I was like, what the heck is happening? Oh my gosh. People were looking around at me like I knew. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that I smell like DUI on the right side of my body because my husband's so busy laughing at me, looking mad. So he knocked over the remnants of what he was drinking. I mean, he had ice water in it, but it was cold too. So it was cold on my shirt. I was like, I had a wet DUI shirt. All right. Have a good one.